This
Then take a
conference
roll
will
call,
now
please.
be recorded.
Sure. Deputy Mayor Napolitani,
Here.
Council members Achara,
Here.
Donlin,
Here.
Fisher,
Here.
and Mayor Siciliano.
Here, the notice requirement for the Open Public Meeting Act for this meeting has been satisfied. A copy of the annual notice was sent to the Asbury Park Press Coaster, posted in Town Hall, and filed in the office of the municipal clerk on December 30, 2020. So then tonight we have a couple of items for discussion here, our D1, D2, and D3. And I think Johnny wanted to slip something in there again about medical marijuana. Only kidding. Let's we just are those people here? So let's just go right to D1. What do we have then? Pedestrian footbridge we're going to discuss.
Maurice Cerulli is here for D1.
Maury, I don't believe it. Maury could care, he could care less about that.
No, I don't. That's it. Let's move on to the next item. Anyhow,
So-
I just know is that this has been an ongoing issue for many, many years. I've been living in the area for 38 years, and probably about 8 to 10 years ago, the bridge issue came up to have a pathway through the Greenbelt to Crystal Brook. It started off, they wanted to come onto Kramer Court. We pushed it down. As a matter of fact, at one point, I don't know how many of you are aware, but a bridge was actually built illegally. Some of the remnants of it are still there. It was removed, and now the ongoing situation has been a little troubling. I understand that a lot of you think that we're all in agreement, but there's been a bunch of year-round residents in Crystal Brook that have been against it since day one. Multiple reasons. First of all, we moved there, it's quiet, it's private. We like the privacy, the safety, and having a public pedestrian bridge will pose a multitude of problems. The bridge being built will save some people 5 or 10-minute walk to synagogue on the Sabbath and on Jewish holidays. So it's a limited number of days during the year that this would be used, and at the same time cause us 365 days of potential exposure. Honestly, I feel I wouldn't want to walk over through a bridge on the Greenbelt. I look out my window into the Greenbelt, and the trees that have fallen there over the years would kill anybody. I just fear that they would fall on my house one day, and fortunately not. So the safety issue, the security issue, once it's going to be open to the public 24/7, who knows what's going to happen? You know, who's going to be aware of it? Eric will speak. Eric lives across the street from me. He has issues with it, maybe even more impacted by the new proposal. I understand that Raymond Sack is actually paying people to allow them to do it. He owns a house that's involved in this, and actually had the person who rents the house from him sign an agreement that he would not oppose any structure, which I think is a little arm twisting, and you know, I wouldn't want to be put in that position. So I want Eric to speak.
Maury, before anybody else speaks, two things. First, anybody can speak, that's fine. Just state your name and address for the record. Vinny, our clerk, has to record you guys.
Okay. My name, Maury.
So
Maury
secondly,
Cerulli.
go ahead, Maury.
Okay. Sorry.
So Maury, let me ask you a question. Have you seen the revised plans?
No, I don't know what the revised plans are.
Okay.
What I heard is that they will go across the Greenbelt into Sammy Sutton's backyard, and then make a turn and come between Mark Abadie and Eric Sasson, which there's not a lot of space between the two houses to begin with, and on to Kramer Court.
Okay.
So I know that one plan to originally come up on Kramer was gone. This proposal has the same effect as the other proposal, except they're moving it over and imposing on more people. That's all.
Well, yeah, he slid it down so you're not looking right at it from your front porch. You know, at least where it crosses, the traverses the brook. And he moved it down, you know, several hundred feet, so it comes behind the homes. And then it kind of, he was hoping discreetly between the two houses, and hopefully that was innocuous enough. But you're saying that's still an
No,
intrusive.
it's just,
lane.
it's just, you're just changing something slight that really doesn't change the effect of the whole bridge.
Okay.
You know, there's a lot of, I mean, security, you know, safety. Eric is going to talk in a second, but he has 2 young kids. I don't think he'd feel comfortable having them outside.
What
Yeah,
do you
but
think,
anyhow,
Eric?
I'm going to let Eric speak
Sure.
because, you know, we've been going back and forth with this for years. But
Name and address for the
I
record.
just want to say one thing and then I'm going to shut up. There's 3 of us here now. Some people are away. Of all the houses in Crystal Brook, I can think of maybe 1 or 2 that are not opposed to it. I don't know if they're in favor, but they're not opposed. And I will gladly get something in writing with all the names and addresses of all the people who live here. And a lot of us, fortunately, are year-rounders, which makes it a neighborhood rather than just a summer neighborhood. I'm going to get it over to you guys and show you how we really feel about it. We are members of the same shul, we're members of the same community, but to me, this is our homes, our backyards, our safety, more than the shul. And I think that comes before, you know, saving people a 10-minute walk.
Okay. Thank you, Maury. Eric?
Thanks,
Okay, thank
Maury.
you, Chris.
For the record, Eric Sasson, 5 Kramer Court. So my house happens to be the house that's directly impacted by this proposed pathway and bridge. From what I understand, the proposed pathway would be running along my backyard and along the side of my house, basically surrounding my house. And it's a major security threat. I have 2 young children, and I wouldn't feel comfortable letting my kids play outside, knowing that there can be strangers in very close proximity. Besides for that, it's also a privacy concern for us. You know, we live in this area. It's a very, very private neighborhood, and we want to keep it that way.
Okay. All right, Eric. Thank you. So, Maury, Eric, you guys feel it's an attractive nuisance and other problems. Is there anyone else on from your neighborhood now, you said, Maury?
And that
Yeah.
way.
Hi, Ed Hamway. I live at 4 Weinberg Court. My front door faces Maury's house and Eric's house. I've been living here for 43 years. And along with the points that Maury and Eric said about only 5 or 10 minutes out of their way if they had to go around instead of the bridge. You guys know, or I hope you know, of the drug problem that we are having now and did have a few years ago in the exact Crystal Brook area. And along with that, I believe we took care of it a few years ago. I don't know about now. I've only heard rumors that a neighbor who was right behind me is dealing drugs. But anyway, the fact remains that I have a lot of grandchildren and they spend a lot of time in my house. Like Eric, who has a few kids, I find it imposing on us, and the privacy is not there for us. Anyone can come over that bridge. Anyone can say what they do 24 hours a day. It's not policed. People don't know what's going on there. And I feel that Maury and Eric and all our other neighbors who are not here today, but also agree with us, feel that it's an imposing situation and it shouldn't be here. I'm assuming there are other options and other places that it can go to, but right now I'm opposed to it over there.
Okay. Thank you, Ed. Appreciate it.
Could I share a screenshot with you guys, or it's not capable on the site?
Sure.
Yeah, is there a way to share? I don't know how to do it.
What do you have yet?
There's a screen button on the bottom.
Matter of fact, I'll send it over. At the end of Delaware, over Poplar Brook to Shadow
Yeah.
Lawn is a straight shot. It's easy. It pretty much solves the problems. As it turns out, it lands in Raymond's sister's backyard, and
Right.
they're opposed to it. If they're not willing to have it in their own backyard and he's pushing for this, why can't he, why is that not being considered as one of the pathways?
That was
I mean,
actually
he's the one who's
considered.
proposing it, why don't do it, take it, take it upon yourself to accept it in your own
I think-
property.
Maury, that was
Yeah.
one of the early options. A long
Right.
time ago, I think 15 years ago. This has been around a while, this
Okay,
plan. But I think there was more wetlands to go through before it even got to the brook, I believe. But I'll
Okay.
bring it back to them to say, look at it there.
Raymond has clout, he could get DEP on his side.
Nobody gets DEP.
I know.
Preferential treatment.
Also, Chris, do you know whether or not DEP has approved this plan
No,
as yet?
not that far along, Maury. No.
Okay. All right.
All right. Thank you, guys. Anybody else?
I mean, that's us. I mean, it was kind of short notice. I, rustled up a few people. Yeah, my son's listening in. I don't want to get him started. He's a lawyer. And
Okay.
we'll be here till tomorrow morning, but
No closing
Yeah, but-
arguments from your son.
what I'm going to do is I'm going to put together a list of all the residents
Okay.
and get it over to you guys so you can see exactly what it is. It's not just me that is against it. I'm unfortunately the volunteer for this project. And, just want to have open dialogue. Listen, if there's another option, it's not like we're opposed to a bridge. We're opposed to a bridge onto Kramer Court. I mean, if there's a proposal that we could all agree on, I'm all for it. Look, I'm a member of the shul. I've been a member of shul since we were in the Walter Reed estate. It's home to me. And we want to see it thrive and everything. But at the same time, our homes are more important at this point, and our personal safety. All right, guys?
Understood.
All right.
Thank you, Maury.
Chris, be well.
Thank you,
Everybody,
guys.
thank you for your time.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks,
Thank
Maury.
you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we're out of here.
So we have tonight also a request on D2.
Chris, if we might, why don't we switch to D3? Because I see Mike Davenport's here.
Yeah, sure. Well, let's move that along. So we're going to change gears. D3, Environmental Commission, vine removal at Joe Palea Park. How you doing, Mike?
Good, how you doing?
Real well,
Mike
thank you.
Davenport, 1300 Alaire Avenue. So I just wanted to, I guess, ask permission for a project that I'm proposing for Palea Park. Can you make me a presenter for a moment? I just want to share my screen.
Sure, hang on for a second.
You're asking Vinny, this is way above Michael.
Go ahead, Mike.
Okay, thank you.
Vinny, need my help?
Oh,
Okay, do you
Look at
guys
you,
see
Ben.
the-
Look at that, Chris.
yes.
Okay, so there's a tree in there. And what I'm proposing is in Palea Park, we have a problem with invasive vines.
Yeah.
They're strangling the trees, they're climbing up the trees, they're adding weight to the trees that are going to bring the trees down. It's a problem throughout the park. And what I'm proposing to do is, hold on one second. What I'm proposing to do is work with the AmeriCorps Watershed Ambassador Program to bring out about 25 volunteers in April in a couple groves of these trees so that we can help the trees thrive. So the map right here is showing Palea Park. This is Deal Road on the bottom,
Mhm.
Whale Pond on your right side. The areas I highlighted in red are the areas that I'm suggesting we tackle. And I contacted Mark at DPW, and he said if I just let him know when we're doing this, the volunteers can leave the piles of all the vines, and then he can come pick them up.
Yeah. Yeah, great. Absolutely. The invasive vines and species throughout a lot of this area. I have a woods right next to me and they're strangling the trees. Absolutely. I think it's a great plan, Michael.
Will it be early April?
Yeah, it's going to be April 10th with a rain date of April 11th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m.
Only reason why I say that, in case there's poison ivy, sumac or something, or oak or in there, before the leaves come out and everything else, you have less likely a chance of getting any of that. So I'm just saying the earlier the better.
Yeah, we wanted to actually have some of the plants leafing out so we could identify what they are. And it's also a compromise. The date's kind of a compromise of comfortable weather to work in, not too cold, not too hot. But we'll be taking precautions for poison ivy as well as for the deer ticks.
Hey, Mike, this is Rob. When you spoke to Mark and Tom, I don't want to go above here, but when we've done this we did do it last year, but I think we did it 2 out of the last 3 years, where we had a group of people from either environmental or shade tree. We went out and did exactly what you're proposing. Tom Crochet did have a couple of DPW guys there with chainsaws, with their front end loaders, with the garbage trucks. They were there helping us. So just throwing it out there, we did it 2 out of the last 3 years. Tom, if you could see it, and Mark thinks it's worthwhile, and Michael, you believe it's worth it.
We'll have 2 guys out there.
Okay,
We'll have 2 from Public Works out there that day to help out.
got it. Good stuff.
One thing in terms of asking for volunteers, how are you planning to advertise for volunteers, and is there any way that the township can help, maybe put it on the website or a newsletter, or is there other ways that we can help you get volunteers that you need?
Margie. Go ahead, Mike.
The problem is COVID. We do want to limit participation because of that. Although we're going to be spread out quite a distance and it's outdoors, we still want to be very cognizant of that risk. So the woman in charge of the AmeriCorps program for our watershed said that she's going to handle advertising it through Facebook, and there's going to be an online registration so we can limit it to 25 people.
Got it.
But this is Jack Kearns. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, Jack.
Yes, sir.
The only thing I would like to add, well, 2 things. One is that this is a very important thing. We have a tree shortcoming, and we need to correct that. And this isn't just enlivening the trees. This is keeping them from dying, from being killed by these vines. So it's very, very important. The other details of protecting from the COVID and so forth is a detail. From my understanding, that's well workable. And you've got some good people understanding that as well as the other aspects of things. So I would be 100% in support of this.
Good.
And Mr. Davenport, just let us know when you have your date and the times, and I'll make sure I pass it on to Public Works.
We have the dates and times now. We have April 10th.
Okay.
The rain date of April 11th, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Do I need to check with the rec department since it's at the park?
Yes, make sure it doesn't have
I'll let Mike know.
Frisbee tournament or anything going on. Yes. Let's do that now.
So is Tom going to check with the rec department?
Yeah, we just want to make sure Mike doesn't have anything planned. He has a tournament every year for the disc golf. Just want to make sure it's not conflicting that weekend.
And which park is that at again?
Leia Park.
That's
Joe
Palea Park.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Joe Palea Park.
Okay.
Okay, great. Good stuff, Michael. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Thanks,
Nice
Mike.
plan. Looks aggressive, but let's see how much you get done.
If it's a success, we can do other parts of the park. So it's kind of a test.
Cool. All right. Anybody else on the D3? Are we good? All right, we'll move on to D2. I don't know if anybody's here for that request, but there's a request for a road opening on Whale Pond Road for they want to run water to a newly built home or a home that's just about finished. As you know, we have a moratorium on that road, being that it was paved within the last 5 years. So I don't know if anybody from the public, are you here on that request? No, okay, I don't see or hear nobody. Here's my thought is, you guys familiar with this area? That's the several new homes on the corner of Whale Pond and Deal almost, and it's set back as you go down north on Whale Pond, about 200 feet on the right-hand side, right there. I don't know why they haven't pursued trying to tap into somebody else's water temporarily. Their neighbor is this fellow that's building the home, has built them, he's building one for his daughter, and he's built the other home. So he has a relationship and a rapport with the folks here. So my first inclination is to ask him to seek another source before we cut a road open again.
Can I ask a silly question? I mean, that's been going up for what, if it's the one I'm thinking of, Chris, 2 years now? I mean, it's been up, being built for a while. Don't
2
they
years.
normally, yeah, don't they normally request that before? I mean, isn't that part of the approval process? Am I missing
You
something?
know, Rob, you would think when you're pulling the permits that all that's like revealed to them, act like they didn't know this. It's
Right.
like, here's your permits, but be mindful of that road was paved and there's a moratorium. I don't know. I presume, Ron, they have that
I'm
info.
sorry, it's the paving. I apologize, Chris. It's a paving piece. Well, let me ask it this way. If that road wasn't paved, would it have been an issue?
No.
Okay, thank you. That's what I'm thinking.
No, you absolutely can cut into the road. And,
Right.
That's the time to do it.
Right.
When was it paved, Mayor? Do you know?
It was done long before he started construction.
It was paved, if I may, in the fall of 2018, which makes it roughly, like 2 years?
2.5, right,
Two and a half.
just over 2. Right, so long before the house was constructed. I know it seems like a long time, Rob, but that came out.
No. Yeah, that's fine. I misunderstood. Thank you.
All right. Anybody else have thoughts on that? Are you in agreement with me that they should pursue and exhaust every option before we grant the road opening?
Mayor, we just went through this on Bound Road also, same situation. So I'm in agreement. There's no need. If we don't have to cut the road open again, since we, recently had it paved, I'm totally in agreement with you looking for another spot.
Yep.
Okay.
I think the alternative ought to be pursued if there is any.
Absolutely. That's what we're hoping for, so. All right, so
I agree.
we'll get back to.
There's other houses on that property too. I'm surprised that they didn't want to tap into those lines in the first place.
Yeah, I don't know why he wouldn't at least try that or ask or whatever. So we'll find out. We'll send a message back, Marty or whomever, to Mr. Epstein's request and see if he can pursue other options.
Want me to have the engineer do it?
Yes, great. Yeah, he can do that too.
Okay, great. I talked to him about it today. Okay.
Yeah, thanks, Tom. Okay. Anybody from the public have any comments?
I think you're taking, just Jack Kearns, I think you're taking the right approach by not just opening streets because somebody wants them open, but what's the impact as you go downstream or, looking ahead, how do we not have streets full of crossover paving and so forth?
Right.
So you're right on, Chris, you're right on.
All right, thank you, Jim. All right, we're gonna go briefly through the rest of what the 7 o'clock agenda is. We're not gonna discuss anything, just what's on there. And we'll divvy up the chores and then we have a closed item on here, Ben?
We do.
Okay. So also tonight, we have a consent agenda. And those are the minutes for the January 28th, 21 and February 6th, 2021 workshop and public meetings, workshop meeting for 2021. We also have our resolutions, 21028, authorize the County Mosquito Control Commission to do their aerial operations within the township. They do that all the time. And the 2109, rather, authorizing the use of the southeast quadrant for the festival. They're going to try to see if they can bring that back again. Hopefully the COVID restrictions are lifted. And also for 21030, authorize the adoption of the Monmouth County multi-jurisdiction hazard mitigation plan, which we always do. Also, individual action, we have resolutions 21031, tax collector to issue refunds. This is a routine thing for the overpayment of any of those in 2021, and they're listed there. And we'll go over them at the 7 o'clock meeting. 2032, authorize the tax collector to issue another refund for the stated block and lot number there. And then also for 21033, authorize the township to engage in services for AAA lead professionals to perform asbestos abatement at our 1005 Workapeco Drive at a cost not to exceed $39.50. And then 2134, authorize the extension of contracts with Millennium Strategies for grant writing services. And that'll be again discussed at the 7 o'clock meeting. Then there's one ordinance for adoption, 2351. It's a bond ordinance. So just increase a little bit to get some of our projects caught up. So on those, we're going to have, hold on a second, let me get to it. Okay, so it'll be Margie and Rob can offer the consent agenda, and Dave and John on the ordinance. All right. Anybody from the public have anything before we go into our closed session? Okay. Anybody from the council have anything you want to share with the public? Okay. Ready, Vin?
Yeah, we're just gonna let everybody know that we're going into close, so non-council members need to leave the meeting at this point.
Okay.
February 11th, 2021 to order. Vin, take the roll call, please.
Sure, Deputy Mayor Napolitani,
Here.
Council Members Achara,
Here?
Donlin,
Here.
Fisher,
Here.
and Mayor Siciliano.
Here. Everybody please rise for a pledge allegiance and then remain standing for a moment of silent prayer thereafter. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing. Okay, we can be seated. The notice requirement for the Open Public Meeting Act has been satisfied. A copy of the annual notice was sent to the Asbury Park Press Coaster, posted in Town Hall, and filed in the office of the municipal clerk on December 30, 2020. I'll forego the fire exits and the notices. I just say, everybody, please mute yourselves until you're ready to speak at the end of the meeting. As always, we have it open public comments. In the beginning of the meeting, you'll be able to comment on resolutions as they appear. And then at the end, we also have an ordinance, but it's just for introduction. So we will open it up. But in the meantime, please mute your phones if you don't mind. Before we start the meeting, I always like to get some council comments. And it's easier for us to start in alphabetical order while we're zooming. I'm going to start with Rob. You have anything, Rob?
I do, Mayor. We had a Township of Ocean Chamber of Commerce meeting last Thursday where we added 4 new board members. Doug Whitman, a longtime Ocean Township resident and lawyer, has been added to the board. Irving, I'm going to tear his name apart, Savia, who is Fashion Industries LLC. Regina Longo, who is a marketing consultant, and Sharon Grace, who is from Provident Bank. So all 4 of them have graciously volunteered to be on the board at the chamber and have already picked up committee assignments. Lastly, we had the chamber sponsored a Valentine's event last night at Jared's, where Ocean Township Chamber members were able to get discounts and have a private showing. So we are, even during COVID, still trying to accommodate the members. So if there are any businesses in Ocean that are out there that are interested in membership, please look up on our website and you can complete a registration form, or an application, I should say, and we'd be happy to have you.
Fantastic. Good stuff, Rob. Good to see that they're still trying to keep that thing going. That's awesome. All right, at this time, Marge, do you have anything?
I just want to say thank you to the Department of Public Works for the great job they did during the recent snowstorms. Much appreciated. They did a really great job, especially during the first one, which was a very long storm. And I got a lot of great feedback from neighbors that their roads were getting cleared on time, and those who might have been left behind, and we were able to get them in, they appreciated the getting done very quickly. So great job.
Good. Yes, they did a pretty good job considering that storm. That was good. Dave, you have anything?
I was going to say the same thing, but I will second Margie's comments, and I want to congratulate those guys on a job well done. And looks like this winter's not letting us go, so we appreciate all your hard work and dedication. Thank you.
Right. No, it's not over yet. Good. John, you have anything for us?
I'll echo those sentiments too. The rank and file guys out there were really doing a hard job. Being out on the road myself that night, it was definitely a long one. So they did a great job.
Yeah. Yep, you know firsthand being out there.
Yeah.
In fact, you had to come down and knock down my pile a few times after I got plowed in by Public Works. No, I'm kidding.
That's right. I'll send you the bill, Chris, when I get a chance.
Well earned, my man. Well earned.
Yeah.
Hey, I have a little something. I do want to say those guys did a great job. We weathered the storm, and apologize to folks. It happens. These guys are driving their plows 30 miles an hour, trying to move tons of snow, and they need to get up that much torque and momentum to move the snow. We can't stop at every driveway, pick up the plow, and keep going. We have 10,122 driveways. That would take forever. So be patient during a storm like that. Just know that one of the outcomes of a snowstorm like that is, yes, they're going to pile up a little snow in front of your driveway. And if you can wait till the storm's over, have that cleared out, because we make a few passes, as you know, and that does happen. But, those guys did a great job. Also, I put a little call out because some of our senior developments that had private companies plow them, we didn't plow them. We didn't have to worry about that. But their cars got stuck in there. And so they were stuck, some of these seniors in our development. So I put a call out on Facebook, and overwhelmingly, all these kids and the Troop 71 all responded. They stepped up. So I'm going to give a shout out to mention a few names real quick here. Joshua Weissman, Noah Gutman, Jane Alto, all kids from the high school. They came out the first night. They dug out the seniors over there at Stacy Drive at Heritage Village. And then the second night, Troop 71 stepped up along with the Ocean Tide Soccer Club. So we had Greg and Frank Frasca, Logan and Larry Kaplan, Frank and Matthew McGann, Art and Christian Chung, and Rosemary and Joe Citrelli from the Ocean Tide. So you guys, you rock. You were great. You bailed out some seniors. You restored their freedom and independence in a time when they were really, plowed in there. They were stuck. They couldn't really get out. So thank you guys for that. Great job. And, we really appreciate it. This town really's got it together. All right. So tonight, the purpose of the public portion is to solely ask questions and understand resolutions that appear on an agenda is not an occasion for a public hearing on an ordinance. All questions not related to an item on this agenda should be asked during the public comments portion at the conclusion of the meeting. Okay, so once again, if you have anything on any of these consent agendas or resolutions, now would be the time for anybody to speak up on that. Just on the consent agenda or resolutions, state your name and address for the record. And Vin will direct me here since I have
Nothing, Mayor.
ghost screen. Nothing? Okay.
No one.
Seeing or hearing no one? Someone please offer the consent agenda and the minutes for January 28th and the February 6th.
I'll offer the consent agenda.
Second?
Second?
Deputy Mayor Napolitani.
Here. I mean, yes.
Council members Achara,
Yes.
Here.
Conlon,
Yes.
Fisher,
Yes.
and Mayor Siciliano.
Yes. Also, we have resolution 21028 through 21030. Someone please offer.
I'll offer.
Second?
Second?
Deputy Mayor Napolitani.
Yes.
Council members Achara,
Yes.
Conlon,
Yes.
Fisher,
Yes.
Mayor Siciliano.
Yes. For individual action, we have resolution 21031, authorize the tax collector to issue refunds for the following taxpayers due an overpayment of their 2021 taxes. We have block 1.02, lot 21.01, Block 22, Lot 86, and Block 3701, Lot 13. Someone please offer.
I'll offer.
Second.
I'll second.
Deputy Mayor Napolitani,
Yes.
Councilmember Zachara,
Yes.
Donlin,
Yes.
Fisher,
Yes.
Mayor Siciliano.
Yes, we also have Resolution 20032, authorizing tax collector to issue refunds due to an adjustment in the 2020 through 2021 added and omitted taxes for Block 35, Lot 6.59. Someone please offer.
I'll offer.
Second.
Second.
Deputy Mayor Napolitani,
Yes.
Councilmember Zachara,
Yes.
Donlin,
Yes.
Fisher,
Yes.
Mayor Siciliano.
Yes. Also, we have 21033, authorize the township to engage the services of AAA lead professionals to perform asbestos abatement at 1005 Wickapeckle Drive at a cost not to exceed $3,950. Someone please offer.
I'll offer.
Second.
Second.
Deputy Mayor Napolitani,
Yes.
Councilmember Zachara,
Yes.
Donlin,
Yes.
Fisher,
Yes.
Mayor Siciliano.
Yes. Also, we have 21034, authorize the extension of a contract with Millennium Strategies LLC for grant writing services at a cost not to exceed $36,000 for the period of January 1 through December 31, 2021. Someone please offer.
It's fine.
I'll offer.
Second.
Second.
Deputy Mayor Napolitani,
Yes.
Councilmember Zachara,
I'm going to vote no on this. We've had them for a year. They haven't produced anything. I have spoken to Vinny. I have spoken to the town manager. I'd like to know if there is a 90-day out on that, because if they don't perform, I'd like not to continue paying them $36,000 if they can't find us a grant. And we could debate why they didn't do it, but either way, they got $36,000 last year and we didn't get anything. So I'm voting no on this one.
Councilmembers Donlin,
I'm voting yes on this one. Yes.
Fisher,
I'm voting yes.
and Mayor Siciliano.
I'm going to vote no as well. Tonight, also for adoption, we have ordinance number 2351. Vin, would you read the title?
A bond ordinance amending ordinance number 2340, increasing the authorized bonds and notes to be issued by $128,250 for a total debt authorization of $2,215,250.
Okay, that'll have its public hearing at the February 20.
Nope, it's adoption for tonight, Mayor.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't say, I'm sorry. I thought it was introduction. Great. Somebody please move to, let me see, open the public hearing on ordinance 2351.
I move to open the public hearing on ordinance 2351.
Second.
I'll second.
Deputy Mayor Napolitani,
Yes.
Doesn't include.
Councilmember Zachara,
Yes.
Donlin,
Yes.
Fisher,
Yes.
Mayor Siciliano.
Yes. Anybody from the public, if you have anything you want to be heard on ordinance 2351, please state your name and address for the record.
Jackie Wenzel. Oh, go ahead.
I'm sorry, Jackie. Can I just ask, Mayor,
Yeah.
can you just, or Vin or Tom or manager, can you just explain what the 128 is for so people do know?
Good.
Okay. Yeah, it was just it was a clerical error. We had previously adopted ordinance 2340 last year, and they inadvertently miscalculated the total amount of debt that we were supposed to borrow. So this is just a housekeeping clerical type of correction. It's not increasing anything other than just the arithmetic, for lack of a better word.
Thanks.
Okay, so someone wants to be heard was Ms. Wenzel. Jackie, you want to be heard on this
Yeah.
ordinance?
No, I just wanted to ask, to make sure I'm reading it correctly. Is part of this budget including the updating and the master plan? Money
This
for
is from last,
The master plan's not in there.
says
master-
planning board master plan, total of appropriations estimated 85,000.
It's in that one? I didn't see it.
It could have been. Why would it have been part of the
It's
bond?
point number 6.
That's,
This is from
that's correct.
2020, right, Glenn? Isn't it just an amendment from 2020?
It is, but it's, the original bond ordinance included the master plan. So the master plan
Right,
isn't,
Oh,
There you go.
So you're getting ready to rework the master plan? Is that why it's in
Our
there?
plan
Or
is to have it, yes, we want to have it in place by the end of this year. So directed Tom Henshaw, the interim manager, to start seeking quotes from our planner and other planners if he wanted to, but at least start meeting with our planner, engineer, and start getting the ball rolling.
Okay, excellent. And will you bring in also some environmental people in terms of environmental protection? Does that work into the master plan, a certain amount of open space perhaps?
Well, everything's considered in the master plan that has to do with the township. So all those fields will be touched or explored, and we'll be in touch with everybody
Yes,
from environmentalists to DEP, everything.
because we'd like to know, I guess, what kind of inventory of open space we have at this time. Because I know, of course, we're being taxed, so we perhaps protect some of that open space, but I feel very unsure in terms of where we actually have open space to protect at this time.
Okay.
Oh, okay. So we'll get a map of some type?
Yes,
Okay. Thank you.
you're welcome. Anybody else? All right, someone please close the public hearing on ordinance 2351.
I move to close the public hearing on ordinance 2351.
Second?
I'll second.
Deputy Mayor Napolitani,
Yes.
council members Achara,
Yes.
Conlon,
Yes.
Fisher,
Yes.
Mayor Siciliano.
Yes. Okay, so that's, someone action please on ordinance 2351.
I move to adopt ordinance 2351 and publish according to law.
Okay, second?
I'll second.
Deputy Mayor Napolitani,
Yes.
council members Achara,
Yes.
Conlon,
Yes.
Fisher,
Yes.
Mayor Siciliano.
Yes, okay, that ordinance has been adopted. At this time, anybody from the public has anything germane to Ocean Township, now would be the time to state your name and address for the record.
Hi, this is Jim Bay.
Hello.
On page 17, there was a reference to a risk management, a coordinator of benefits and health insurance.
Okay,
Is this the appropriate time to ask about that?
you can, anything germane to the Ocean Township, now would be the time. What was your question, Jeff?
What's the nature of the function of that coordinating contract? What is that contract's actions? What do they do and how do they coordinate all those separate benefits?
Okay, so risk management, Tom can speak on it also, Tom Henshaw, but that's one of our insurance carriers. Tom, you want to elaborate?
yeah, what they do is they go out, like, our next health requirement for the employees is dental. So they'll go out and they'll shop around from different companies just to get us the best bang for our buck, for the employees and to try to keep the cost down. So that's what they do.
Are you still using Delta Dental at about $100 a month?
I couldn't tell you. I haven't reviewed our dental plan at this point until I get information back from them, but I can let you know in the future.
And your health insurance is state insurance, so they wouldn't have any functionality with that?
Probably not unless something came up where the state stopped doing that.
So just dental?
Well, dental and eyeglass prescription.
Okay, there was no cost noted in that contract on page 17. How are they reimbursed?
They're reimbursed by a percentage of what they can save the township.
Thank you, Tom. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Thanks, Jim. Anybody else have anything? State your name and address for the record.
If I may, Jack Kearns, Beecroft Place in Oakhurst.
Mhm.
I just wanted to add it to some of the accommodations that were made earlier with regard to our snow removal and the guys and gals doing all of that. They did a marvelous job. I mean, it was a continuous job, and these guys were really careful. They go down my street quite a lot because of the fire engine and so forth, and they watch what they're doing, and they're careful about what they do. So if you get a little bit in your driveway, guess what? Put up with it. Get the shovel out and do it. I don't. I have a son who can do that, so I'm better off. The other point I wanted to ask, Mayor, if I may, on Resolution 21034, I know that Mr. Ochara had some concern about that, and then you also had a negative concern. Could you explain what yours was?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Yes, my concern was that, right, we've had them 1 year, and I know we were off to a slow start. There was some miscommunication, I guess, between the previous manager and them, but nonetheless, at that point, they should have caught up a little bit more. And no, they really haven't produced much for us. So I'm not seeing the cost benefit at this time.
Yeah,
In other
okay,
words,
all right.
you know, we have in-house guys looking for, you know, our police department, they seek their grants for safety and things like that anyway. We have our engineers always looking for grants for us on road programs. So I don't know. To me, it was kind of like, you know, let's see how this year goes without them. That's just
Okay.
me.
Yeah, I appreciate your comments. Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Joe.
That's all I have, except to add that I think we have a heck of a group of townspeople working to, in all aspects of things. I mean, from recreation to treatment to the police department and what they do. Before we had the snow, there was some guys from the road department who were filling up holes on my street, which happened. You know, they did it such. Unfortunately, it was near my house, so I could watch them do it. I think they liked it okay, because they did a heck of a job. And I watched the care at which they're spreading this blacktop and filling the holes and so forth. And if you didn't know, could see the contrast in the color of the blacktop, you wouldn't know it was even touched. They did a perfect job. It was really great. And I wanted to just get that along to our road people, because sometimes they do things we never see them do it, but they do a heck of a job. And I just wanted to say that. Thank you.
Good. Thanks, Jack. Anybody
Mayor,
else?
Yes. Mayor, I just sent everyone a copy of the accident report, the police accident report. It's a compilation from 2017 through the end of 2020. And I've shared it with a number of the people in the community. And people have been, of course, as you know, concerned about Hillel and the additional traffic going back and forth to a school with 1,000+ students. I was wondering, have you had I just sent it to you, so you probably haven't had a chance. I know I had posted it on Ocean Cares. I don't know if you view that site, but I don't know if anyone in the council has looked at this report before, but I just sent it to you now. It shows an increase of 37.5% crashes in 4 years. From 2017 to 2020, we've had a 37.5% increase. And when I shared this with the community, they were asking if you knew why perhaps it has increased like that. Do you have any idea as to why the accidents have had such a dramatic increase in such a short amount of time?
You're asking me if I know? I would just chalk it up to more careless drivers. They're using their technology while they drive and they're not paying attention.
That's probably a good point.
That would be my theory would be that.
Mm-hmm. And what I noticed, because I did this manual, when I asked the police department, they were very accommodating, but I had each and every report separate. So I went through all of them. And most of them, I mean, many of them involve the jug handles. So
Mhm.
again, it's another concern with the jug handles and additional roadways coming ingress and egress from the proposed site. So I just, I've passed these along to everyone. I'd like to know if there's, an opportunity we could just schedule some time to talk at one of the meetings about what road improvements or what is planned to be done. I also understand that Orchard Plaza now may be developed with more housing, which I think it's great that Orchard Plaza will be redeveloped. I think that's a wonderful idea, and I think it's fine that it's housing. It's just, again, with the addition of that, additional students at the school, I mean, for pedestrian safety, I think we're just maybe squeezing too many things in the corridor of Deal Road and 35. So would you like to speak on that at all? Do you want to think about it and speak
Well,
about it next meeting?
No, I don't have to. Yeah, I mean, I don't really have to think about it too much. I mean, I know the behavior of the traffic patterns there on 35 Deal Road and all that. It changed as the town grows naturally. As I've always said, our biggest challenge was that we've only had those 2.5, if you will, east to west corridors. I say 2.5. You have West Park, you have Deal, and you have partial Sunset Avenue, which lets relieves the pressure for the Wanamassa folks to get north and south. So that's always a problem. And yes, when there's Renaissance, there's going to be some more trouble as well. But that's the conundrum we're in. You want to see a blighted strip center like that, and here's an opportunity to have it developed. Really nice, by the way, beautiful.
No, I have no. I think
Gorgeous,
that's great.
gorgeous beyond gorgeous, and a beautiful, rateable, and something viable and alive, and very rich friendly. There's going to be green roofs, and just you name it, everything's going to be in there. But yes, what do you do with the traffic? So we have some plans for traffic there that can help some of the pressure. There is a back road outlet, the old Kings Highway, that is truncated behind the Continental Apartments. It comes off of West Park Avenue, goes behind BJ's, but then stops. And I can see if that road is continued right through Continental Drive, that could easily satisfy the pressures of whatever was put on that Orchard Plaza site.
That's great. So people have easier access. I understand that was
Yeah,
part of the
back
problem.
without ever hitting the highway.
Right. So who is behind the development there? Who's developing it?
Well, nobody. It's a concept plan. I don't even know how that got out, that there's a development, because someone's thinking about buying it and thinking about a concept that we only previewed last week. We really don't have a time to sink in. So, there's that may or may not ever happen.
No, I think it's a great idea. I guess, it came up when people were talking about the extra density with the Hillel School, and perhaps would the school be able to expand in that area, and that there would be a back road.
Well, I think the school where it is really the most viable option. I mean, keeping them on one campus, they've always been there. They've grown so much in the last 40 years there. I've seen it, but it's mostly busing. It's buses. It's not individual cars. Not like our high school that, you have 347 cars between juniors and seniors in and out of there all day, plus the 300 teachers. It's that's buses, and I think even adding more students here is not going to add more cars to it. It's just going to add more buses, maybe more trips. I think moving a firehouse to the corner makes perfect sense. It's probably safer for the entire community, gives them a better opportunity to serve the community from easier access points, being able to get in and out on both Poplar and Deal Road. This is just my opinion. If they don't like it, they don't do it. I'm not pushing I'm not for or against. I'm just giving you my opinion from someone who's lived here a long, long time. So I think building them a new firehouse, something that's up to state of the art, better to serve the community. Hello, all on one campus. I think it's good.
Was there an opportunity for us to purchase that that house, the Copper Gables, so we could have maybe preserved that, since we've bought other properties in town as of recent?
Could we have bought it, or could we buy it?
Could we have bought it? Well, it sounds like it's already been sold.
It's been sold for a while. They've owned it. Hillel's owned it for several years now.
Mm-hmm.
I guess we could have, but we really had no use for that building. I mean, nothing to even think about other than stopping anybody else from building there.
I guess the firehouse on that corner, though, with the density on Deal Road is it feels like a safety concern. I mean, even just getting the fire trucks out quick enough if there's backup on Deal Road, it seems like an odd place since it's so
Well, it's actually better than where they are now. So I think, I mean, you could talk to the firemen about it, but I think they like the plan. In fact, I'm sure they do. They wouldn't have agreed to a land swap.
So as far as you know, then is that a done deal at this point?
Well, that's between them. It has nothing to do with the township. That's between Oakhurst Fire Department and Hillel School. I have no idea how far along they are in their negotiations. I assume that they're far enough along that they're now presenting a plan to the planning board. So I'm sure they've negotiated a deal that they both like. And I guess the Oakhurst Fire Department's satisfied with that. Yeah. You know, I support those guys 100%. Whatever they think, we're behind them. You know, the thing about firehouses, Jackie, is a firehouse can pop up in any neighborhood, anywhere, at any time without any variances.
Well, but they're requiring variances from what I recall from the last zoning and adjustments
They are
meeting.
because right, it's Hillel who's requiring the variance. It's triggered the variances, I think.
Because they want to be more, I guess, as I understood it, they want to be closer to the road when they're supposed to be setbacks. There are certain variances. And I know.
Yeah, they're already there. The thing is, whatever they do to that building, even if they added something in the back where you don't see it, because the front already encroaches on the front yard setback, it has since 78, they're always going to require a variance. So just like a home, if a home's in a, setback 25 feet, it should be 30, and the guy wants to put an addition off the back, he's going to need a variance because the front doesn't meet the front yard setback.
Okay. So do you know if they had the meeting this week? I know Attorney Krimko wanted to have a meeting about it, and then they were going to have a special meeting. So I guess I was just curious. That wasn't really open to the public, I don't think. If you know, is it a done deal then at this point?
Well, I don't know. Frankly, I thought they had another planning board meeting. I'm not sure how far along they got.
But do they have to have a planning board meeting or just a zoning and adjustments?
I'm sorry, what board they're at. They're at the zoning board, rather.
So when it goes, if you go through zoning and adjustments, wouldn't then the next phase be the planning board once you know you're zoned for it? If you're going to build a structure?
It's one board or the other, typically. Zoning is for non-permitted use and the planning board is for permitted uses, basically.
So earlier in the meeting this evening, go ahead. Did someone tell me?
Marty.
No, I just had my timer go off. But you go before either one of the boards typically. If the zoning board has jurisdiction because you're looking for a use variance, they can also then do the site plan aspects of it. So it's typically one board or the other.
Because just earlier in this meeting, it came up about, one of the houses where you talked about Whale Pond, opening it up for a water pipe. But also you had mentioned, some of these houses on Deal and Whale Pond. And it seems like some of these homes, and I've complained, a number of times of the very large home that's in the neighborhood of very small homes. And the idea of master plans and planning boards, being guided by a master plan is so those kind of pop-up giant homes next to small homes are not supposed to happen if you have a master plan well-designed and a community built around a well-designed master plan. So I'm not sure how some of these odd things happen, but on the corner of Whale Pond now and Deal, that was a beautiful estate home there, and they had a lot of land around, and I understand them wanting to build more homes there, but they built a home almost right on the sidewalk. It's odd. I noticed it because when I walk my dog there, it's like you can practically knock on their window. And I would just think that there should be some setback from the sidewalk. Isn't there some rule about that? Or seems like we've left these homes built right up to the sidewalk on Whale Pond.
Well, they shouldn't be. There are setbacks that they have to meet. I don't know. I haven't measured that one, but yes, all homes have to meet a setback in all zones.
So who would have like been the person in town that checks that? Because it's clearly right up on the sidewalk, the one house. I mean, they have all that space. I don't know why they didn't push it back a bit. It's just, since you're redoing the master plan, I just think that, you know, to have a better balance of neighborhoods and how we look, it would be,
Yeah, the master plan would, a new master plan would correct things like that, Jack. We can always increase setbacks and make sure we don't have anybody so close to the road or height, that all those things come into play. So yeah, you can make it as restrictive as we want to control density naturally. And you know, going where we are now, we're probably looking to maybe change the zonings a little bit, but we have to be careful changing the zones because you don't want to trigger everybody coming for a variance for, you know, every time they want to beautify their home or make any improvement. You know, you want to be careful of that as well. It's a balance. You got to balance it. It's got to be sensible.
No, of course. I mean, I just don't think we have been balancing it. I agree. I just think a home shouldn't be so close to the sidewalk, and
I
homes
agree.
should be built in the scale of what's around them. And I guess when the very large home was built, I was told it didn't have to go through the planning board, and I always thought planning boards were meant to look at the site, evaluate the site, as well as the design of what's going to be built. I mean, certainly with the DL 35 project, we not only had to do a zoning change, but then we really did a lot of meetings to look at how it's going to look and what the berms are going to be and the setback is going to be. So I still don't understand on residential why we're not as, you know, as strict about that. I think we should be.
Typically, a residential home doesn't go before the planning board. If they're seeking bulk variances, unless it's not zoned residential, but if they're seeking bulk variances, they go before the Board of Adjustment. They don't go before the planning board, typically a single family home. But the Board of Adjustment has the same powers, and if they have jurisdiction in general, they then proceed with site plans as well. But it just so happens that what the planning boards do are subdivisions and commercial site plans, typically.
But not residential.
Not a single residential if it's the overall big development where they're doing subdivisions, but not a individual lot, single family home.
So why then did the town get so involved with the home of the gentleman who lives on Corley's? Edward, I think his name is. Why did we get so involved in his home?
We were not so
That
involved.
was a code. Those were code violations, Jackie. That was a different animal.
Yeah, that wasn't about planning or zoning. Those were violations, and he came before the council. The council, you know, wasn't like we were involved. The planning board wasn't involved. It was tickets being issued by code because of dangerous conditions. Nothing to do with planning and zoning.
Okay, now, because I just think homes are part of the aesthetic of how our streets look. To me, they're as important aesthetically as businesses. And I just think
Well,
if we're
they can't build, Jackie, they can't build a house in violation of the side yard, front yard setbacks unless they go before the Board of Adjustment, if it's a single family home, and seek a variance, and they'd have to have a good reason to get a variance. Now, I'm not sure what house you're talking about, but
I thought the mayor had referenced it when he said about the houses on Whale Pond and Deal, because it's right on that corner. And it's been built very close to the sidewalk now, as well as the giant house is right on the sidewalk. You know, I know you told me many times that there was 3 lots, but they should have like centered that house off the sidewalk a bit, given its size. And it's, you know, it's just, to me, it has made the neighborhood look silly over there. It's not that it could look more beautiful somewhere else, and the neighborhood would looked more beautiful without it. It looks like an intruder. And anyway, I don't mean to insult the owners of the home. I think it's a nice home. I just think it should have been in Deal, not quite there where all those other, you know, it's just worked in the neighborhood. So that's, you know, I've said it a number of times. I know that.
I would have put that house on the beach.
I'm sorry?
I would have put that house on the beach.
Well, just that. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. So he may not like your house. I mean, it's all about, who's looking at it?
Well, we all look at it. But
Well,
anyway,
Yes,
okay.
and he would.
I also actually, I'm going to let you all go. I just wanted to quickly say to Mr. Councilman Napolitani that I had received a phone call, well, 2 phone calls actually, that people asked me what you were so upset about at the last meeting, that you were upset, you were, I don't know, yelling is the right word, you sounded angry, but nobody quite understood what you were angry about. And I don't know what you were angry about. So I said, I don't know, but I'll ask him. You seemed upset about emails, but we weren't sure. Since you brought it up at a public meeting, it must have been something, it's something obviously that would have been open to the public.
Probably should have been a question asked last time, so I'm just going to move forward now. I said what I had to say, and it's over. Thank you.
Okay, they just wanted, they didn't understand what it was about, so you don't want to.
You can give them my cell phone number. They can call me, 732-996-2114.
996, what is it, 2?
2114.
It's flashing on the screen there underneath
right.
his name.
Okay, all right, that's all. Thank you.
I have one
Great,
thing,
thank
if I may.
Yes.
Before we hang up, this has been in my mind the first time I'm thinking to ask it. Who is the group that does the master plan? Who runs the show, and who's part of the group that does the planning and scoping out what the future is going to be like and so forth? Who does that, Mayor? Can you just say who in general do those kinds of things?
Well, in general, it's a group effort with your professionals. So when I say your professionals, the ones who are in the ring every day in that arena. So you have a planner, you have an engineer, and then you'll have a land use attorney. Then you'll also have the mayor and council, of course. You'll have our community development director, Ron Kirk, will be in there, and some various other departments. And then from there, you branch out and you get input from Environmental Commission, DPW, police, et cetera, et cetera. It branches out. We plan on having a small ad hoc committee as well, built from the public at large. People from each section of town arbitrarily. We can't have 100 people, of course, but we can put together a small committee. And, a couple folks from Wanamassa, Oakhurst, Wayside, so it's just to get some input.
Yeah, so the public does have input into the overall process. Yeah, that's good.
It's a long process. It's ultimately the planning board has a tremendous amount of input, and it's really under their wing to come up with a master plan.
So they kind of manage it, Marty? Is that what you're saying? They sort of manage the whole thing and pull it all together?
Well, yeah, we've done this every 10 years. So every 10 years, there's been a master plan amendments that were all on file on the computer somewhere. I'm not very good at the computer, but I know that they're there. So, we do have master plans and what's been done every 10 years. But ultimately, the planning board does the master plan. I think we're trying
our master plan was way out beyond the 10-year period. Okay.
No, not really.
No, 2014. That would make it 2024. Yes.
Okay. Thank you, gentlemen.
Okay. Thanks, Jack. All right. Anybody else? No?
Is it okay if I say something? It's Sylvia. I don't know how you get in line here. Hi,
you're in line.
Sylvia. Thanks. Sylvia, 200 Lincoln Drive in Wanamassa. Hi, everybody. Hope you're all well. I know I'm a little late to the subject, but I just actually found out like yesterday or the day before that we've got some plans in place for the building on Logan Road, which I think is terrific. I understand it was like announced maybe a month ago, maybe even 2, I'm not sure. One of the plans, from what I understand, is Project Extend to be running out of that building. Is that accurate?
Yes, that was one of the plans.
Okay. So I just had, which I think is fine. I had a couple of questions about what that would look like and also about costs with that. So if we have Project Extend there, will it not be running out of the school, the elementary schools anymore?
I think that's the plan. Is Mike from our recreation director has a plan of using that building, hopefully to get everybody there for Project Extend, just at that building and not at the schools. Because a lot of times there's things with the schools that maybe they're having an event or whatever. I'm not sure what his thoughts were, but it was he thought it'd be more convenient if we had it all there under one roof, and then he can also do summer recreation and whatnot.
No, and I think it's a great idea to have some recreation programs there. But I think, and this obviously, you know, I'm not the professional, but just some input as far as logistics go and how Project Extend runs. It's been, I think this program has been going on. Dr. Ponton had started it years and years ago, but it starts in the morning before school, and it also continues after school. So parents who have to leave before their kids go get on the buses, they can drop their kids off at their own schools, and then from the Project Extend classrooms, the children go right into their own classrooms because they're in their schools. At the end of the day, the kids are already in their schools, so they just stay in the Project Extend classrooms, and then their parents come and pick them up when they get home from work and such. So if you're considering moving the programs to just one localized building, then I'm guessing the parents would have to drop their kids off in the morning there, and then those kids would have to be bused to the schools. And if it's going to be in the afternoon, then the kids would have to get bused from their schools to Logan Road, and then their parents would come and pick them up there at the end of the day. So I want to make sure that you're being mindful of the logistics of it. In addition, most of the Project Extend staff members are usually the teachers that work in the building. So when the school day ends, they go over and they're hired by the municipality, not by the school district, because it's a municipal program that is a partnership with the school district to use their facilities. So those teachers would go from their classrooms into the Project Extend classroom at the end of the day, or before school if that's their schedule. But if they're going to be at Logan Road, the teachers would have to get from their own schools to Logan Road before the kids got there, but they still have to be in their own schools for dismissal. And they do this for, it's extra income for them. It's like a part-time job. And, a lot of the newer teachers, when they first get hired, they really do need to have that supplemental income. So those are just some things to be mindful about it. And I was wondering, I know there's some projections of what that Project Extend program would bring in at Logan Road. Do we have the net income for what it already brings in the
Yes.
locations?
Yeah, it's about $500,000, not holding me to the penny right now. We feel it can be expanded if we were moving it. And yeah, I'm sure Mike's thinking about all the logistics of it. I haven't seen his full plan yet. So, I'm sure he'll present something that hopefully is sensible before we act on it, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, that was really my biggest concern, is the logistics of it, because, if the kids are already in their own schools and often they're with their teachers, a lot of what happens at Project Extend is that the teachers help them with their homework. They also have, the recreation activities and stuff, and blow off steam after school is over, but they get help with their schoolwork that they're doing in that school. And a lot of times it's by their own teachers, which was just always a real benefit when my kids were in the elementary level, which that was a long, long time ago. I had just two more quick things. The snow removal, first of all, I agree. I think our DPW guys do a great job, and I appreciate that. very much. Certainly, they have been I mean, you couldn't even tell that it snowed over here 15 minutes after the snowstorm was over. But I'm wondering about, as far as the ordinance for getting the snow off of your sidewalks, is there a time frame? Is it 2 days? Is it 24 hours after the snow ends? I don't know what that time frame is. Can anybody answer?
Depends where you live. If you're in a school zone, it's typically 24 hours unless it's 12 inches or more that gets extended. Everyone else, it's pretty much 72, I believe, was what the ordinance reads now.
Okay. And the reason I had asked, and I'm guessing there is some overlap in the time that the summons had been received, but there was, and I'm sure you know Miss Sarine. She was a teacher at Wayside School for a boatload of years. She's over on Sunset, and I learned yesterday that she had gotten a summons yesterday for the snow removal on her sidewalk, but she had removed the snow already, and then the plows, because she's on Sunset, they came by and the ice got all over the sidewalk again. And she's 69, she's got an 86-year-old husband, and the summons said that if she doesn't remove it immediately, she's going to start getting charged. I think she said $2,000 a day, which is Can you help her with that?
There's nobody's getting charged $2,000. There's the letter's going out now. Let me finish and you can go on. We're going to amend that so they understand there's an ordinance in place. And I know it's a struggle. There's a lot of 91-year-old people in town. I get that. My mother was 88 before she died. We had to pay the services when she lived on Roosevelt Avenue. We paid to have that taken care of, so they wouldn't have that problem. And I know it's probably a burden for a lot of people. If that's the case, they can let us know, and we can have our maintenance crew do it and maybe bill them slowly, whatever. There's ways we can get around it, but no one's going to be charged $2,000. We just want to be mindful of the ordinance that, trying to keep the sidewalks clear so we don't have folks walking in the street. That's really what it is.
Right, no, I agree. She had cleared it actually already, but after she cleared it, that's when.
I don't know how. I'm curious how that happens. Maybe it was the second snowstorm that put the snow back on, because when you have a raging snowstorm, I know I would go out once in a while just to chop down the pile, but I would wait till the storm was over and the guys were done plowing before I would hire somebody to clear my sidewalk. That way they wouldn't plow it in again. I guess, I guess timing it's hard for everybody. I get that.
Yeah, sure. No, I recommended that she come and speak to the township manager. I'd be happy to take her down. But it was disconcerting, certainly, and it was very upsetting to her. And, we all know.
Yeah, nobody's getting charged $2,000.
Okay. Last thing, regarding the proposed development over at the Coca-Cola, the old Coca-Cola plant. I was wondering, do we have anybody that's following that development? It looks like it looks like a good use. I'm not at all upset that there's going to be something there, but it needs to be done mindfully and proactively. And I don't know if you guys have seen the plans so far show the backs of the building is what will be facing Asbury Avenue over here. And there's no stormwater mitigation in the new plan besides there's a pond that's already sitting there.
Rec ponds over there. Right.
Yeah, there's there's no additional mitigation over there, and there are two egresses out that are near each other, right on Asbury Avenue, directly across from us over here in Colonial Terrace. I know that as far as just the function of the stormwater, I mean, there are really easy fixes for a lot of this. Like a line of trees would probably hide the back of the buildings there, as well as mediate some of that runoff. So there are things that can be done, but we have to make sure that somebody's watching and doing it. I had spoken with Asbury Park, and their governing body said that this is something that the Deal Lake Commission should really be engaged in. I don't know. I know we have the biggest piece of Deal Lake and so we have the commissioner. And, I did speak a little bit with him regarding that. And I think the concern of what he said to me was if he goes to any of those meetings, as the Deal Lake commissioner, he has to bring an attorney, and there's costs to that, which I think those are good costs. But we have the attorney, we already pay him, and it's probably something that we should be mindful. I know it's not Ocean Township, but it affects Ocean Township so much so that residents in Ocean Township have received the notification from the developers as they have to, but that tells you kind of that it affects us, especially those two egresses. So do we have somebody that would be monitoring that situation?
Well, yeah, we can have, as long as I know that when the notices are and when their meetings are, I can certainly have our engineers, somebody attend a meeting, and myself, and just to make sure Ocean gets the better side of the building, if that's what you guys want. But I personally haven't been noticed. I don't know where they're at with it. I think it's already through, right?
No, it's not. The notifications just came out.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, I think it was like 2 weeks ago. They still hadn't had the meeting planned, and the use it's fine, and the backs of the buildings would be fine if they could just kind of cover them up with some trees and stuff. But those two egresses are going to be a nightmare on Asbury Avenue.
Okay.
That would probably be a bad thing. But the problem with the engineer, our engineer being there, is I think our engineer, at least for the Deal Lake Commission, is the same engineer that the developer has. So we kind of need somebody else. Now he's good, but he's got to be on either representing one.
So I didn't know. I didn't know they were representing the developer there at all. I had no knowledge of it.
Okay, that's all for me. Sorry to drone.
I'm sorry you broke up. What was that?
I said that's all for me. Sorry to drone on.
Okay. Great. Thank you.
Night,
Anybody else? Vin, you're my eyes and ears over there.
Nobody else.
All right. Thank you all for attending. We'll look into that situation with the Coca-Cola plant and the other various things. And someone make a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Second?
I'll second.
Deputy Mayor Napolitani.
Yes.
Council members Achara,
Yes.
Conlon,
Yes.
Fisher,
Yes.
Mayor Siciliano.
Yes. Have a good night, everybody. Meeting adjourned. Take care.
Good night.
Night.